Hello everyone, welcome to Farming in Africa YouTube channel. I have the privilege of delving into a very bold and intriguing decision Fred has taken, the venture into pig farming. Yes, I said pig farming. Let me give you some 30 seconds for this to sink in. And whilst it sinks in, if you are new to this channel, you are in for a lot. So please subscribe to this channel and you wouldn't regret it at all. If you're already a subscriber, I always say thank you for your support, but you know what to do. Go a step further and hit the notification button for me, because this new move we are entering into, if I were you, I wouldn't want to miss any updates we bring your way. I shall be right back with Fred. Welcome back. Yes, still on the pig farming venture. Fred is leading the entire Farming in Africa team into. This interview actually aims to explore his motivations, his strategies, the risk, the challenges. Of course, we are going to bring you the whole package, not just the glories and the success stories, and undoubtedly the potential impact this is going to have on us as a whole. Without wasting much time, I have Fred right here with me in the studio, and he's going to go all out into this new venture he's taken us into. Of course, that validates everything I say when I tell you we are the go-to people for everything livestock. Well, pig farming, here we come. Fred, over to you. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Nadia.
Nice, always a pleasure to have you too. About this bold venture you are taking the entire Farming in Africa team into, can you tell me more about it?
So it's basically still part of the livestock industry. I think if you understand the mission and the vision of Farming in Africa, is basically, to transform Africa through innovative practices and services in the livestock industry. And that doesn't just limit us to goats, but over the years we also believe that it is better for us to get it right and focus. So over the years we've been focusing on goats and learning all the 5 pillars that would lead to a successful goat farming. And those pillars are not very unique to just goats. It applies to all livestock farming. And I think we've worked very, very hard, all of us, you included, in making sure that the goat industry fulfills these 5 pillars, right? And I think the timing could never be right to moving into the next livestock venture where the same pillars are missing drastically, right? But what actually made us make this move, even though it's as part of our vision, is the people watching us, what they are asking for, right? I have a very good friend of mine who is into goat, who has actually, made an investment with me for about 8 months just for pigs, because I had told him that we are going to go into pigs like a year ago. Wow. But I wasn't ready, and he has been waiting. So the decision is not outside our vision, and it's not something new to us, but it has been pushed by our followers, by the people in the industry who are asking for it, and that's why we are making it now.
And Fred said you are asking for it. So yes, actually I didn't know about a year ago he had this on his mind, so I think the timing is just right. But talking about how we've focused on making one at a time perfect before we move on, I actually was hoping you would tell, especially our new following, how we started with cattle. Yes. So when we say we have experience in the livestock industry, we are not joking. Yes. So can you hit on that for me? Cattle before goats, actually.
Yes. So I think we did cattle for 3 years. So in a nutshell, it's actually a 3-year plan. So we did cattle for 3 years, and now we've done goats almost 3 years now. Yeah, actually. And now we are starting another venture. So it seems like it takes us 3 years to basically try to perfect. I mean, there is always room for improvement,
Yeah.
but to perfect and understand one stock, and then we move into another breed. So, yes, I think I didn't think of it that way, but I think it's something that is all working together for the greater benefit.
Oh, this is great. I actually didn't also know you had been in cattle for 3 years. So the experience, even you built on that in the goats, and now you say pig.
Yeah.
All right, you already mentioned pig because our audience are following, have asked for it.
Yeah.
So which particular area, because we've been preaching about the 5 fundamental pillars in livestock.
Yeah.
Now, looking at those 5 pillars, and if you are new and you are wondering what the 5 pillars are, more reason you should subscribe to this channel and follow us on all other social media platforms, because we've talked about them and we are still in the process of talking about them. So out of these 5, which one are you focusing on going into pig farming, please?
So again, if you've been following us, then you know that the 5 pillars are your fundamental pillars of the structure.
Definitely.
So when one is weak, your building is gonna be tilted, right? And at the end of the day, it's gonna collapse because you're gonna lack in one. So we are not gonna be just doing one.
Okay.
Right, we're gonna take all the 5 alongside with us, but what are we starting with?
Exactly, that's what I'm curious about.
Yes, will be the question. So we're gonna start with the genetics, because I think in the 5 pillars, genetic is the number 1.
Yes.
Once you have the right genetic, then you can build on that genetic to achieve its full potential.
I see.
Right, so if you're lacking with the genetic, then it doesn't matter how much food you give it, it's still gonna give you, the potential it has. And if it's poor genetic, then the potential of what you can expect out of it is gonna be poor. Right, so that's the number 1 fundamental principle that we're gonna start with, and then build on that.
And build on that. Talking about genetics, I want us to stay on that for a little bit. I am a Ghanaian, and I would say pork is not that rare in the Ghanaian community. I mean, everywhere you go, you find a pork joint and all of that. So talking about genetics you are starting with, how different is it going to be? Is it like some wild new genetic you are introducing into the whole pig industry in Ghana as a whole? Hit more on that for me. How different is this genetics? Please educate me on that.
So it's not different, but there is a bloodline.
Oh.
Right, so let me use human for example. We are all humans, but we all come from a tribe.
Yeah.
And our tribe is our bloodline.
Yeah.
Right? So you say this bloodline is very, tall and bulky, and this bloodline has a lot of hair. They are hairy people. It depends. So it's the same thing with pigs. So the genetics we're going to be bringing in or starting with, and the breed is common, which is the landrace, the large whites, and then the Duroc. So yes, so these are large white and Duroc.
Okay.
And these are the 3 breeds that we're going to be working with. What is most important about this breed is which bloodline that you're going to be working with. Right, so over the years, I've been traveling a lot to the US, to South Africa, to different countries, and even though we haven't been showing the pig side because we aren't ready yet, we've been doing a lot of research into this, and everywhere we go, these breeds exist, but you could see the different characteristics of these breeds. Right, I have actually been to a farm where the way they select the breeds is by selecting through the cells, the temperament of the cell, to be able to decide if this is going to be a good breed.
That's some high-end technology.
Yes, so there's a software that you put the sperm in, and then it's able to separate the cells, and they choose which cell is good for breeding and which cell is good for slaughtering.
But Fred, I'm curious, the 3 breeds you mentioned, do we have them in Ghana? What have become of their pure breeds as well? Do we even have the pure breeds of these in Ghana so we can get the maximum potential out of them?
So I would say we do have some, yes, but the issue with it is, they are expensive. So people buy them, and lack of knowledge, and also due to limited resources, they tend to crossbreed it a lot. So very few people would have a pure breed of a landrace or a large white or a Duroc. But then having the pure breed doesn't assure you of the quality genetic.
I see.
Just like you can have me as a human and you can have another human at the same age, and he'll be bigger and taller than me.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we are all human. We are all pure human. I'm not a crossbreed human, but my genetic is completely different from that human's genetic. Right. So in livestock too, that's what it is. And that's why I say we are not going to go into pure breeds. We are going into genetics.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why the number one fundamental is genetic. So you need to understand as a farmer, what is your end goal? What are you producing?
Yes.
And then based on that, what kind of genetic is going to favor your business? Right. So these three breeds are common. It's not a special breed, but the genetic of them is.
That's what sets them apart.
In case you have the chance to choose the genetic of your kids, don't you have some traits that you will be looking for?
Definitely.
Exactly. So this is what we're saying. Everybody can be a livestock farmer. Everybody can be a pig farmer. But if you have your money, then you should have the right to choose the kind of genetic that you want to produce. And that's what we're going to be doing.
Great. Now, when you were speaking, you used the phrase, we are going to be bringing in. My mind hung on to that. When you said bringing in, from where? Yeah.
So I have visited a lot of companies in the US. I've visited a lot in South Africa as well. I've been in contact with a few companies in Belgium as well. At the moment, I think the company that I'm very confident in is in South Africa. So and it's easy because we've already set up the logistics already in South Africa. And what is unique about the company that I'm going to be working with is also the fact that we did something with goats where we just brought in the goats without understanding their nutrition, the health. What do we even have the medication they require? Do we even understand their feed, and do we have it here? And we made a lot of sacrifices before getting it right. Right. The reason why I have delayed in going into pig was trying to get the necessities right before the introduction. Right. So with this company, we've been working. I've been to South Africa twice purposely just for this. My recent visits, I went into their AI station, had several meetings with them, saw the genetic and how they're developing it and all of that. Met with their nutritionist, met with the health.
A whole lot has gone into it.
Oh yes. Even the design of the structure.
I see.
Like everything now is being done with a company that specializes in the designing of a pig structure, right? So we've done a lot of work, to make sure that they survive, and that knowledge is what your followers and all of them can depend on, so that we just don't give you a pig, but we give you a pig with a whole package for its survival. And I think that's very.
So listening to you right now, two questions have come to mind. Let me just start with the first one. You put out a video out very recently telling us about your decision to go into pig farming. You even showed us the piece of land you have acquired. Now, with all of this research you have seen out there, how well do you think the land you have acquired is prepared to do this business?
So, I mean, when it comes to pigs,
please, let me stop you there. Is pig farming like goat farming where no matter your land size, you can go into it? So talking about land, please chip in that for me as well.
I think there is, to some extent, no matter the size of your land, you can, but a small land is a small land, right? You can have a pig pen maybe on a 5 feet land, so which is very small, 5 feet. So that's how I want to make sure that no matter. Sometimes when you put no matter, people start having crazy ideas. This is not aquaponic or anything like that. So you need to at least have about 1 plot, 2 plots of land, and then we can design something like that for you. So yes, if you're looking at somewhere within a plot of land which is about 80 by 100 feet upwards, then yes, you can fit something in there.
I hope you heard that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that plot of land or the piece of land, what's the size, if I may ask?
The one we have, so the one we have is about 3 acres. That's what we're working with, but we are going to currently utilize a very small piece of land, looking at the design that we're using. So pig structure, because they wouldn't need a pasture to graze. It makes it even smaller than the goats.
I've learned something, and it sounds like an advantage over goat farming, or?
Pros and cons.
Okay, pros and
That
cons.
means that you also be spending more money on their feed, because they are not out grazing. So you got to choose your battle.
Okay, that's true. So how well prepared is our land?
So at the moment, we are now fabricating everything that we're going to be using for the structure. Hopefully in the next few weeks, we should start clearing the land. The plan has been designed already, so it's just a matter of clearing the land and starting with the foundation, and then waiting for all the equipment and everything to arrive, then we can start. So yeah, we're looking at by the end of this year to be able to.
And knowing Fred, believe you me, the end of this year is too far, because we've seen the amount of time he used to literally put up structures on the Suhum land, and we have a fully functional and operational learning and development farm in Suhum. So at the end of year, guys, you just watch out, and I'm telling you, continue to follow us across all the social media platforms. And unfortunately, I'm just realizing that this pig farming, we've just scratched the surface, and we've spent close to 20 minutes and we are still at the surface of this very interesting decision Fred has taken. So you know what? I am definitely going to bring Fred back for us to have a part 2 or even 3 of this, because we really have to exhaust it. And if you know Fred, a lot of planning has gone into this, and so he is fully prepared to answer all of the questions we will bring your way. As always, if there is something we haven't covered, of course I know, but if there is a particular issue or topic you want Fred to cover in the part 2 of this video, put it in the comment section. Like this video as well, because we have to reach as many people as possible. And also, you know what, share, especially my colleagues and friends in the diaspora. There are lots of you out there with similar interests, so you watching this, once you share, it's going to reach people with similar interests like yourself. Now, before I let Fred go, I mentioned I had 2 questions, so let me ask you this last question about the genetics. You mentioned the 3 you stated, we have some in Ghana. Now, how different are those ones? Same name. How different are they from the ones you are going to be bringing in? Yes.
So like I said, you know,
is it clear? Because I'm thinking of like West African against Boer.
So the difference is, if you look at their characteristics, right? Physical appearance, they will be the same, right? In terms of, pig color, in terms of their years, we use the years a lot to determine which breed, whether it's a large white or a land race. We use the color to determine whether it's a Duroc or a large white or a land race. So in terms of that, it's gonna be the same. But what we're going a step further is their weight, their growth rate, right? Most farmers here actually will measure the quality of their genetic based on the number of kids, right? What we're going to do is to measure the quality based on how many kids you still have after you've weaned them, right? So that is like we holding ourselves to the task that giving birth to like 20 kids is not enough, because that doesn't bring you money. But when you're winning them at the winning stage, how many do you actually have out of the 20?
Meaning mortality rate is high out there.
Exactly. So that's what we're going to be pegging our standard.
That is some high standard you've set yourself to, Fred.
And that's if you if you want to believe in what you do, right? Because at the end of the day, if the farmer does not make money, then even if your pig give birth to 50, and at winning stage you have 5, you've actually lost big time.
Wow. So that is a major difference. I can't wait for the part 2, because it looks like there is a lot more as well. We all have to actually know on this pig farming. And as always, if you know Fred, he has done his research before he is finally coming out to tell us the decision or the move he wants to venture into. Well, let's all throw our support behind him. And as always, we are solidly behind you in helping to carry out this vision of revolutionizing the livestock industry as a whole in Africa. I must say you are doing a great job and the impact is being felt. To all of you out there, today, we only scratched the surface of the decision or move we are entering into as a company, which is pig farming. It doesn't mean we are leaving goat farming behind, guys. No, diversification, growth, innovation, expansion. Let me just remind you that if you are out there and you're also into this livestock agribusiness, contact us for all of your feed solutions, the livestock feed, the hay, and the sementia grass. By now, you should have cultivated your grass by now. And also, if you need help with starting up your own farm, I know a lot of you out there have gotten inspired, but you have no idea where to start from, how to even start. Just pick our contacts from our bio and let's get talking. We have to do this together. And of late, I've been saying a lot about something Fred says, that even if he decides to have the largest livestock industry in Africa, he can't feed the whole of Africa. But if he's able to share the proven concepts and knowledge to all of you out there, so that collectively we do it right and actually get good return on our investments, guess what? We're able to achieve that bigger goal of feeding the whole of the continent. Till we come your way again with part 2 of this video, I want Fred to look into the camera and tell you that you have no idea what he has in store for you, just so you would hit the notification button and get the part 2 of this. Fred, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting, and I think that's one of the downside to entrepreneurs is just when the idea comes, it's like a light bulb, you know. But this, I would say, we've held on for too long, trying to perfect it and do it right. And you know, like you always say, you know, we want to revolutionize the livestock industry, but that which also means that we have to set a very high standard for ourselves and do things right, because so many people depend on us. So what I can assure you guys is nothing by quality, something by high standard. You might not be able to do that now, but at least you will know where you're going and be able to work towards it. So we want to take that lead and give you that space for you to grow into it, because you can only dream as far as you've seen, right? And that's what we want to do.
Into the future we go. Pig farming, here we come. Till we come your way with part 2 of this video, it is all love and bye-bye from all of us here at Farming in Africa to you.